say is that I want to come back to the power of the working class, which the rail workers will hopefully next week show very, very clearly. I think the Tories are absolutely bricking it here because they can stop the country. They can stop the food getting to supermarkets, all of this sort of stuff. They can do that. And I think that the key point for us as the working class, let's remember we are an international class, just as the ruling class is an international class. The capitalism is a global system. We can't just talk about Britain by itself in that respect. Our power is to change society. We are the class that was created by capitalism. We create the profits, we do the work, we make the wealth. And there's massive wealth, mainly being controlled by tiny numbers of people, actually. But that's our wealth that we create and we should be demanding back. And I think, though, that therefore when we look around the world, we always stand with workers who fight back in any respect. And I would say, just on the question of war, the hypocrisy, frankly, because we are clear that we absolutely unequivocally condemn the Russian invasion of Ukraine. But I also have to say, we also unequivocally condemn Israeli treatment of Palestinians. We unequivocally condemn the war on Iraq and the war on Afghanistan that was supposedly done in our name. And these are the key questions that I think that we have to look at and we have to be clear on if we are to build a genuinely united movement that can start to change the world. And so I think that what that means is that every struggle, however small or insignificant it might appear, matters. But actually now we are moving into quite big struggles. The Tories are in trouble. They don't have solutions. There is a crisis in society right now, a crisis of cost of living, a crisis of climate, and a crisis of refugees, and all of the rest of it. Many of these refugees are refugees from countries that Britain was involved in invading, incidentally. And so I think that in this situation, we are in a situation where we're saying we can't go on like this. And that's the question that has to be answered. So, what does that mean? I think that first of all means that we have to be thinking that the force that changes society is the working class. We have the power and we have the capacity to envisage and implement a world where there's no borders, where there's no oppression, where there's no poverty. But of course we know that the ruling class will fight us back. They're not going to listen to reason, are they? They're not going to we're not going to go to them and say, look, really, see, it's not really working. And they go, oh, no, you're right, it's not. They're not going to do that. They're going to fight for their power and privilege. And therefore, that brings into the question of leadership, I think, as well. And I think that when we do fight back, we do have the example of the Russian Revolution that was led by the Bolshevik Party to victory. They were able to, in a few short years, achieve things that nobody else had achieved in centuries. Women's rights, gay rights, and so much more. That was crushed, unfortunately. But it goes to show what we can achieve and what we need to be aiming to achieve. Because actually it was the revolutionary Rosa Luxemburg who said, either we have socialism or we have barbarism. The fact of the matter is we have the barbarism now, and that's why we need the socialism. That's why we need to support every single strike. That's why the rail strike is important. That's why it's important to link every struggle, because we do not benefit from racism. We do not benefit from supporting people being sent to Rwanda and all the rest of it. We do not benefit from the divisions of racism, sexism, and so on. And therefore, as socialists, it is our job to say that we have to unite all of these struggles. If I go to a picket line and I hear somebody say something racist, I'm not going to pretend I didn't hear it. We've got to have the discussion, and so on. So that's why I think that socialists have to be organised. You can be a good socialist on your own, but actually, when we're organised, we can actually start to have a plan. We can say, right, this is what's important. This is what we need to focus on now, and all of those sorts of things. We're going to be on the trans rights demonstration in July. Next week, we need to be on the picket lines, and I hope that lots of us will join us on the picket lines, where we can just discuss with strikers what we do next. Let's not stop it here. And I thought we need a summer of discontent. We need, and then You see, because I think a defeat for the Tories, whoever gets in, and be Labour, would benefit from that. I'm going to celebrate at the same time as I'm not going to say, oh yeah, we'll all just go back and sit, no, we carry on the struggle. So that's the challenge that we've got. We need to get organised now, and let's get down to support the rail workers' picket lines, and let's continue this discussion now. I think there are so many things that were brought up here that I can't possibly come back on all of it in any detail. Let's just continue that discussion, support the rail workers, and build the struggle on.